Hello and welcome to our September 2022 market update. We're here to talk about what's going on in the market. It's still really hot outside, so we are back in the studio. Hope to be outside next month. So
awesome. Yeah, let's get into it.
Great. So Brandon, just top of everybody's mind, I'm sure this morning, inflation numbers just came out today.
Yes.
Right?
So
tell us about that.
Inflation numbers just came out today. We were hoping for a slightly less hot reading of inflation. It dropped from 8.5 to 8.3 year over year. So a lot of that is due to food costs. So you see that food costs rose about 13.5%. Gas prices have come down, but what that kind of means from an overall economic perspective is that the Fed now is going to go in and raise the federal funds rate again, probably by 0.75%. To kind of tame inflation. Now, what that means from an interest rate perspective is that we anticipate now that it was a much hotter reading than anticipated. Rates should either plateau or continue to incrementally go up. So not the best reading from an overall perspective of mortgage rates, but overall in general, inflation is starting to come down.
Right. Good.
So I did see, or I have been noticing that supply has kind of leveled off. If you want to talk a little bit about the supply on the market and what that's kind of doing.
Yeah, so what we've seen in the MLS is that actually supply has stabilized. Over the past 5 weeks, it's been pretty stable, which shows that there is some absorption into the market. Mm-hmm. Buyers are, they're making offers on homes, getting them accepted. And I think, this is really spearheaded, I believe, by the fact that the current contracts we're seeing, 11.3% of all contracts have some type of seller concession on them. So I think that's what's really driving the market to offset the rate costs. So my question to you is, as a lender, you get a lot of contracts in. What are some of the seller concessions you're seeing on a contract that other buyers could use for their home search? Yeah,
so we're seeing a lot more seller concession, and we're advising our clients to go in with offers with seller concession. There's a couple things that we can do. We can do a permanent rate buy down, where you're essentially buying the rate down with the seller's money, or you could do a temporary buy down, in which you're essentially decreasing your rate by 2 or even 3% upfront for the first couple years. So just depends on the buyer in general and their comfortability level around each option, but there are options to kind of help with the affordability crisis that we're seeing due to the interest rate environment. You can also use seller concessions for closing costs as well. So we're seeing the availability to kind of get those seller concessions are much more readily available now.
Great. Yeah, and I think the contracts we're writing, we're putting seller concessions on everything and getting that.
Yeah, so it's just more upfront kind of communication with the buyer that's available, because they're not in the market. They don't understand the day-to-day that kind of goes into everything. And with things rapidly changing, it's just smart to advise your clients as to kind of what the state of the market is right now.
Absolutely.
So I get the question a lot with people purchasing primary residence in this current market, with everything changing so quickly. They don't necessarily want to buy at the top of the market. What advice would you have for them in the current state?
So, I believe at the end of the day, home ownership is always a good thing to stabilize. It stabilizes your housing costs. It's really owning a home is really the only way to stabilize your costs, right? Rents go up, landlords sell homes, so it really stabilizes your family environment if you own a home. In this current market, rates are high right now, but the good news is we have over 18,000 properties on the market right now. So supply's up. So you can have a lot more choices of homes than you did a few months ago when we had very, very low supply. So at the end of the day, it's a great time to go out and look at homes, taking advantage of some of these things we just talked about, like closing cost concessions, seller concessions for rate buy downs. There's all types of creative ways to do rate buy downs, 2-1 buy downs. So I still believe that, in this market, and we're seeing it, buyers are jumping in and buying homes with the idea that as we move into a recession, which we will, the inflation numbers will drive us into a recession, rates go down at that point, historically. And so I think at that point, you can refinance and move into a better interest rate position at that point. So at the end of the day, still a great time to get out, look at homes, purchase a home, take advantage of some of the things we just talked about this morning, and move forward.
Yeah, and with demand being down due to the interest rate environment, there's less competition out there.
Yeah.
So now's a better time than ever, and
Right.
then again, refinance at a later date.
Yeah, I mean, demand for home right now is 20% below normal. So it is, if you're looking, I mean, my buyers who are looking right now, we're not competing with other people.
Yeah.
So it's a great time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that wraps up September market update. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot us a DM, but we look forward to talking to you soon.
Great. Thanks. Have a great day.